Last year I did not have the holiday spirit. I struggled through Thanksgiving time. I struggled for all of the weeks leading up to Christmas. I just did not have a sense of wonder like I have had in the past, and it was difficult. I ended up come January 1st feeling more exhausted than ever, feeling just depleted and broke, honestly. Like, I spent so much money. And I want to talk about today what I'm going to do to rewrite this narrative, because I don't want what happened last year to happen this year. And I've got a plan because I've thought about why it felt very difficult for me last year. So just invite you to come along if you have been experiencing the same thing, or if you just want some ideas about going into the holidays with less of a overconsumption, overproductive mindset. One thing that I'm going to change big time this year is how I focus on other people. I have had a very big tendency to try to overcompensate. When my daughter was almost 5 years old, her dad and I got a divorce. And so from then on out, I was trying to overcompensate at holidays for her. We adopted our 3 little ones. Oh my gosh, the amount of overcompensating I felt like I needed to do. I've always known that it's not healthy or helpful to bring that attitude into the holidays, but that's what I've done. Last year, I for sure spent way more money than we had. I've been asked a couple of times what my favorite gift that my husband has ever given me is, and it was maybe the first or second year after we had been married. We were very broke. We had both I was a bartender, he was a waiter, and then we got married and he went back to college, so we were broke. We had agreed that we weren't going to get each other Christmas presents because it was not in the budget. He spent weeks curating like a set of 12 CDs of different genres of music that either A, he knew that I loved, or B, that he wanted to introduce me to. He had to burn them on the computer. This is how long ago that was. By far my favorite gift from him. He's given me much more expensive things. The time it took for him to do it, the way he thought about me and what I liked and what I might like, it just meant the world to me. And that is the feeling that I want to bring into this holiday season for others. I want to give that gift of, I thought about you, I spent time and effort on you, I love you. This is going to be gift related. Not only will I do things, but I want to have my kids do things where they're making gifts, and I'm trying to create in them a practice of thinking about others and considering what might bring them joy, what they can do to bring them joy. I think a lot of kids just kind of have an attitude of receiving during the holidays, and I don't want that. We have tons of crafts. I want to make like handmade letters. That's also an option. Or handmade, drawings that we can make really nice, not just like on the back of some lined notebook paper. So I want to work on gifts, definitely. I will be making them, and I also want to help my kids make them. But it's not just going to be gifts that I'm focused on. I also want to make our experiences more cozy, more special. For example, we could put a movie on, or I could have all of the kids bring down their favorite, like comfy pillows and blankets. We could make a fort in the living room, turn the fireplace on, pop some popcorn, get all our jammies on, some comfy socks, and we could just make it special. I'm gonna make a list of movies that we might want to watch, kind of take turns for who gets to pick which movie. I thought that would be a really good idea too, because there are going to be days when I'm extremely tired and I want to, still make things special, but I don't want to exhaust myself. So that's something like cozy and low-key that we can do. It's like kind of a rest activity. The third idea I had for making things very cozy and special for my kids especially is to focus on food. And if you know me, you know that I hate cooking. I've always hated cooking. That is not a very functional thing when you do have to make dinner every single night. These people want to be fed. It occurred to me that the way I view things, like your point of view is everything. I used to hate cleaning, for instance. You probably If you're not new here, you probably know me from my adaptive cleaning system. I changed my focus on cleaning, and I am just much different about how I feel with that, how I orient with cleaning, and I don't see why I couldn't do the same thing with cooking. It can be a moment. It can be a labor of love, of creating something nourishing, and I can just feel differently about it. It doesn't have to feel like a horrible slog I'm trying to get through every single night. Definitely want to do some like holiday festive drinks, and I want to make some breads and different things like that, but also just like regular dinners. I have autoimmune diseases, and at the end of the day, I do feel ridiculously tired. So it's not going to be something that I do every night, but I want to plan at least 2 or 3 times a week where I help my kids work together. We create something yummy and something that feels very holiday. I just want to imprint on them a sweet feeling about being with mom in the kitchen and helping her do things. And I also want them to be able to know how to do things as they get older. I want them to have some recipes that they can pull out when they are on their own. So those are the basic 3 things I'm going to be working on as far as how I approach my loved ones this holiday season. My second focus that I'm going to change from the way it was last year is I'm going to change how I focus on myself. I ran myself ragged. In normal times, I'm very tempted to act like I don't have time to do things for myself, to take care of myself, because I'm trying to take care of other people. But we know that that does not work. You can't pour from an empty cup. It is such a used saying, but it's true. There is a very direct correlation between how well I take care of myself and how well I'm able to take care of others. So it just does not make sense to not take care of myself, because then I'm not taking care of others as well as I could. So I will be taking the time to move my body. I will be spending time alone, because that is the number one way that I am able to decompress and emotionally regulate myself. I will be setting boundaries. I am a recovering people pleaser, and there still exists in me that desire for people to see me as like this completely together person who can always say yes, who always has the money for the thousands of like volunteer things that are going on, and who can always show up and help here and there. That person still exists. I really want people to see me as perfect. I guess if I'm really being honest with you, that's where that stems from. But that is not necessary, and that's not good for me. So I'm going to be setting some boundaries. And fourth, I'm going to be working to affirm myself. I just want to recognize myself for the little things that I do. Not to like show off or brag, but I just think women don't do that very much. They don't talk about their accomplishments very much. I think it is much easier, which is what I was doing last year, to think about all of the things that I had not done, all of the goals that I wanted to hit that I did not reach, the ways that I felt like I should have been trying harder or doing more. That does not help. You know what does help though is recognizing the things that you did right, and all of the many ways, the small ways a lot of times that you showed up. So I'm gonna do that. I think that I'll probably do that on social media. I might do it on my vlogs, because I'm gonna try to do Vlogmas this year. This is day 1. The third prong of what I'm working on to change this holiday season is intentionality. I'm someone who has a lot of great ideas, but historically I've not taken the time to plan things out. Using my planner very consistently and in as much detail as possible has been a pretty big game changer for me, because I do have ADHD and I cannot hold plans in my mind, and I cannot understand steps in my brain. So I need it to be very visual. Using my planner to really write everything down that I want to do, to think about, well, this is a day, for instance, when Kwame is working, so I know I'm gonna have less support, so maybe I need to plan, something more low-key, or even just simply, scheduling things out, because I will forget that you know, weeks have gone by and Kwame and I haven't had a date, or time just is meaningless to me. I have to write it all out and have it in front of me so I can constantly be reviewing what to do. And I think in order for me to participate in this holiday season in a way that's balanced, in a way where I am not confused about what we're going to do or what we're going to eat, like all of those things stress me out enormously. I don't need that kind of stress. I have been working on developing like a routine with my planner and writing every single thing down, even if I don't want to, because it seems silly, because of course I'll remember, and I don't ever. It's just a big deal. I just have to take the time and not rush through the planning process. I've already seen a difference in how I feel because I've been working on this idea of like really being intentional for a couple of weeks now. We've been doing some crafting and some baking with the kids. I have just seen a difference in the way they feel. I can tell it's like little shifts in their tenderness a little bit. For instance, one of my kiddos the other day, we were laying there and I was like, what was your favorite thing about the day? And this child said, you. I'm gonna cry. And we hadn't done, it was like not like a special day, like we just did some crafts at the table together, turned on some music, and it was, I enjoyed it, but I just, you know, the chaos of everybody moving around, I didn't know that it really made an impact, but it did. And that's what I've been noticing. So I'm gonna try to share as much of this as possible. Like I said earlier, I am attempting to do Vlogmas. I love Vlogmas. I started YouTube in 2018 and I've always wanted to really do it, and I just have never really followed through because I'm not good at planning. So I'm trying to be better about planning. I also do have, you know, very limited time and energy, so there's that element to it. If I can't do it, I'm not gonna force myself because I have boundaries. But if it's feeling good, if it's feeling right, if I'm able to, you know, nothing crazy happens, like I get the flu or something, that's what I'm gonna try to do, and I'll share what we're doing in case it helps you or if it just feels soothing to you, because that's really what I want this time to be. Who knows, maybe I'll get to a point where all year round feels soothing and meaningful. I don't know. The sky's the limit. Okay, that's it for today. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, and I hope you have a great day. Happy December 1st. Bye.